How you doing out there? This is JQ215's Perspective video podcast on YouTube. You can check me out by searching JQ215. Pull up my channel, check out my playlist, pull up my podcasts, watch them, leave a comment, press the like button. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from you. Today's topic: homeschool versus take your ass back to school. Oh man, a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of emotion, a lot of pros and cons. And today I wanted to let you guys know what decision I'm making. But I also wanted to let you know some pros, some cons, things to look out for, and what to understand when we go into this new realm of education. Keep in mind, guys, we've lived through other pandemics, epidemics, all types of crazy viruses, and I honestly don't remember missing school for any of it. I don't remember not going to school because there was an outbreak. I just don't remember that. I do remember getting my ass sent to school, getting sick, coming home, getting better, have a nice day. Shit, sometimes we even got the actual flu shot. The flu shot is the flu. They gave us a sickness. They said, here, take this sickness and have a nice day. And we did it. But all of a sudden now, things are changing. I'll tell you the biggest difference. Biggest difference is social media platforms. They've grown over the years. Media outlets, fake news, real news, his news, her news, news. All of it is just making things worse. I do not believe that the virus is as bad as the numbers say it is. I've cited several articles, and when I say it's not real, I don't mean the virus is not real. You can check it out on my previous podcasts. And I talked about how me and my family got COVID. I talked about where I went, what happened, how our baby fought COVID. My wife fought COVID. I fought COVID. We all survived. And to be honest with you, I've had flus last longer than COVID-19. However, there are others out there that are less fortunate. However, viruses tend to hurt the ill, the older, the elderly. That's never changed. COVID-19 is no worse in my eyes. Homeschool versus take your ass back to school. I did some research, cited some items. I wanted to talk about things that I'll be doing differently with the decision that I made. And stay tuned. We'll talk about that as well. Now, one of the first things that I started to read on and I started to notice was the lifestyle change if you choose homeschooling over sending them back to school. I don't truly believe that a lot of people are grasping the understanding that homeschooling doesn't mean it's easier. You know, you as a parent, especially a single parent, you have to take on more. You know, you're going to be pulled from different directions because that support is going to be needed. Now, do you understand the lifestyle change? Sometimes this lifestyle change can turn into an income change. Are you ready for that? Now, if you're not, are you now just going to let the computer teach your child, or are you going to be more involved? Because homeschooling gives you an opportunity to be more involved in their education in connection with your values. And I expressed on one of my comments on my Facebook page that I don't believe society is ready for that change. I don't believe they're ready for that responsibility. We're used to sending our kids to school for 7, 8 hours. In some cases, private education, they send their kids off for months at a time. Now, not everyone's going to be as involved. However, it's going to need you to be involved. Your child is going to look to you for assistance because they may not have that peer buddy or that other assistant or that teacher to go to. So you have to consider these things. Lifestyle changes, income changes, things that are important like time management, planning. As I talked about, being a single parent, it's going to be tough on you, but I know you can do it. Being a single parent is tough enough. And understanding that you have to have schedule changes, doctor's appointments, routines. They're all going to have to work with the schooling plan. So please keep that in mind. For some of you guys, school may be starting soon, maybe starting next month. However, it's happening. It's quick. So lifestyle change is big. Now I want to talk about socialization. I think that's probably the biggest pro con list that I've seen out there when it came down to homeschooling. Now, remember, you're going to have a curriculum, you're going to have a teacher, they're going to have a device, they're going to be able to be taught through a computer. You'll have options like private tutors and things of that nature that you can purchase or buy services for. So you don't have to go at this alone. You can delegate, and we'll kind of go into more of that because that's more time management. Now, for me, the pro for me is if I went the route of homeschooling, I will have more of an impact on my child's education. I will be able to connect both my values and with their education and their learning experience. So I'm excited if I make that decision. I'm excited if they go back to school. Either way, I'm excited. I'm happy. Now, when it comes down to socialization, you got to think about the environment. Nobody knows what's happening in your home but you. So keep that in mind. How's your at home environment? Is it filthy? Is it clean? Is it happy? Is it angry? Is it rushed? Is there time? Is it combat all day? You know, some families argue all damn day. Some families don't even speak to each other. Your social experience at home is now going to impact your child's social experience. Now, the pro for me in homeschooling is there's no peer pressure, there's no bullies. And, you know, bullying, I've been, one of my videos, my podcast about that kid Quaden Bales, I was big on no bullying. I'm big on anti-bullying. It's just not cool. It's messed up. I mean, I was bullied when I was younger. Not a lot of people know that. I was real young. However, I was always the type to avoid confrontation. Although I've been in fights, I've been in altercations with others, but I would rather avoid a situation, a physical altercation with someone, or an argument or a fight, just because life's too short. I've seen people on videos get punched, fall, hit their head on the ground, and die. Like, that's not the way to go out. So no bullies, no peer pressure. Those things tend to lead to poor academics, lower self-esteem, and values defined by their peers. So you're going to have more control over that. However, you can't raise a kid solely on one point of view, one set of values. So helping them gain that perspective from either other family members or other groups, other families in the neighborhood that are also doing homeschooling. You've got to be ready to connect with your child and connect your child with the outside world. because it can't just be home, home, home. So the pro there is removing all of those issues that cause poor academics and low self-esteem and helping your child prosper, but keeping them social. Sometimes less interaction with other people cause less interaction in programs and extracurricular activities, sports, and things of that nature. So you have to do the research to find out what's going on in your community. In the matters of social distancing for people who are worried, you got to find out what's going on out there and how you can be involved because you have to help your child get involved. Now, there's also been a statistic out there that states kids who homeschool tend to be more involved in their community. Um, they're also more prone to be around a more mixed group of adults and also be around more professionals. If you're doing community activity, you're going to have adults out there, people who are professional doing things that maybe your child has an interest in their future, career wise, things of that nature. Creates education freedom, flexibility. You can work one on one with your child. That was a dream for me when I was younger. I always wanted somebody to work one on one with me, but our classes were 15, 20 deep. My teacher had to adapt to different learning styles and teaching styles to be able to communicate with a group of 15, 20. Some teachers didn't give a shit and just taught one way. So for me, that's a pro in homeschooling is that one-on-one that you are able to share with your child and that time that you have to work with your child until they master master whatever's on your curriculum, master an assignment. That one-on-one is important. Now, once again, we got to talk about the environment. Are you a patient parent? Are you a person who is going to be willing to go over an assignment over and over and over with your child until they get it done? It's your responsibility at that point. In some cases, because of those big learning environments, some kids have to slow down until the other kids catch up, sometimes creating frustration. So you see how this podcast is about the pros and the cons. Homeschool, take your ass back to school. There's good and bad in both. However, it is up to you, the parent, to ensure that that experience is great. We can't just, hey, it's time to get on your computer. It's time to get on your laptop. Time to get on your tablet. Oh, you want to research something? Google it. No, that dialogue, that interaction is going to be important. So you have to make sure you're willing to do that. So when we talk about how important it is for you to be part of their education, we also talk about time management. Create a time audit of your day. How long does it take you to do a task? When you get up, how long does it take you to help your child prepare for their class? How long does it take you to run through your emails? How long does it take you to prepare food for the day? You have to make sure you're doing a constant time audit and not allowing anyone or anything to abuse your time. I myself chose to homeschool. I love time management. I love scheduling and planning. So when I chose homeschool, it wasn't easy for me because I've always been big on sending them to school. However, it was a big discussion with my son because my son, Joselito, will be staying with me for the school year. It was something that he understood what was going on, but at the same time, I explained to him that we're going to be doing things. We're going to be getting bit by fire ants, exploring. We're going to be doing cooking classes. We're going to be doing home ec classes, building stuff in the back. We're going to have a recess. We're going to take breaks in between learning to determine if you've understood this lesson before we move on to the next one. I am going to work on this with my son side by side. I'm fortunate enough to be a life insurance agent and I work from home. I'm fortunate enough to be a vlogger and a YouTuber, and I work from home. So I'm going to be able to devote that time to my son and his education. Creating a list, making sure you have a list of things that you need to do throughout the day so you can stay productive, but at the same time, make sure that you're taking care of what's important. The night before, organize yourself, organize your list. And the morning after, prioritize your list. What do you need to do? What's more important? Start with those first. Delegate, outsource. So if you have a significant other and you're not a single parent, maybe your wife teaches math better. Maybe your husband teaches reading better. Work together. The task shouldn't fall on one parent if you have a full household. Sometimes even your other child can help out. Like my daughter loves reading, so I would get my daughter involved to work with my son on his reading skills, or vice versa. Get up early. Sometimes people think, oh, I got up early before because I had to drive my kids to school. You might have to get up earlier now. I tend to be up by 5, 6 a.m. I have a newborn baby, 6 months. He keeps me up. So for me, once I'm up, I'm up. Buffer time in between your tasks. That is probably the most important thing for me. The reason why that's important is because I like to take 7 deep breaths in between tasks. I like to meditate in between tasks, eat, drink in between tasks. It is important to make that time before you move on to the next. Because if your mind, if your headspace isn't clear, you're not going to give that next task the best version of yourself. Get organized, and I'm going to tell you why. Statistics show annually we spend 2.5 days each year finding misplaced items and 2.7 billion annually replacing those items. That's a scary statistic. I've been known to lose stuff, so I understand where that's coming from. The 80/20 rule: 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. What are you doing? Are you standing still or making moves? Keep a calendar. I would suggest keep a calendar on your device, like a Google Calendar that can be moved to other devices. Keep a calendar and share it with the family, husband, daughter, son. Let them know what the schedule looks like. Teach them how to manage their time as well. Overall, do not be perfect. Being perfect means you're going to spend more time tracking your steps to see if you did something right. When you spend that time doing that, that's less time on other tasks. Keystone habits. That was coined by an author. And they say to make time exercise, tracking what you eat, developing daily routines, and meditating. And last but not least, find inspiration. It could be a TED Talk. It can be a podcast by JQ215. It can be an audio podcast by JQ215. However, find inspiration. You need a spark, a daily spark, something to keep that fire lit. Find out what that is. It's not always your why. Sometimes your why is there, but that why sometimes is just not powerful enough to get you moving. You need to listen to something, see something, read something. Just find a way to light that fire constantly. So, those are some of my tips for homeschooling because this is something that a lot of people, the majority of America, is choosing to do. You can find private tutors online. Um, don't hesitate to seek out help. Some people do tutoring pro bono, like college students. Some people need to do community service work that can help out your child. And just make sure that you're doing your best to ensure that your child has an amazing experience with their education this year. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. This is JQ215's perspective on homeschooling or taking your ass back to school and some how to tips that can help you with time management. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Have a great day.